Hi, I'm Paula from Happy Yoga Wales, and this is a yin yoga practice for inner wisdom and intuition. So you've trusted your intuition so far by clicking on this video, so this is a great start. And we're going to start today down in child's pose. You will need a block for today's practice. If you don't have a block, then a book will do just fine. So we're going to bring our big toes to touch. Take the knees out just as wide as is comfortable, and then go ahead and place your forehead, so your third eye, which is the center of our intuition, down on your block. And the arms can just reach out. They don't have to be stretched out super long here, so just find a nice comfortable version of your child's pose. And then start to settle in here. Feel the ground underneath you, and the breath flowing easily through the body. And there's very little effort required in our yin yoga practice, so really soften in wherever you can. And we're going to be holding all our poses today for about 2 minutes, so not too long. And really focusing on this third eye chakra, our Ajna chakra. And then as we move through our practice, maybe keeping in mind the intention, the affirmation, I trust my inner wisdom. I trust my inner wisdom. I read once that we have the perfect answer, the perfect response to every situation within us. And we just need to trust our intuition and our inner wisdom to be able to know exactly how to act, what to say, what to do. And just taking a few more breaths here, maybe visualizing an indigo purple glow right in the center of the eyebrows. Imagining you could breathe into that space. On your next breath in, fill all the way up, let the belly expand and be soft. And then exhale gently out of the mouth. And just slowly lift your forehead off the block, maybe noticing any sensations there in the third eye. And then come on into a tabletop position, releasing the hips, bringing the knees underneath the hips. And just gently rock side to side here. You can move your blocks out of the way just for a moment. We might use those again a little bit later on. And then just for a few breaths, go and spread the fingers wide here. Tuck the toes under. We're going to come into a downward facing dog. So press really firmly into the hands. Nice strong arms as you lift the hips up. Keep the knees bent here. So it's not about stretching through the hamstrings so much here, but more allowing the head to be heavy. Encouraging the energy and the blood flow to come down towards the head. And then on your next exhale, slowly lower those knees back down with control. And then just coming back to our tabletop position, moving this energy one more time here, taking some cat-cows. So we're going to inhale, let the belly come down, lift the chest forwards. And think about moving with the head. So normally we move from the base of the spine, but letting the intuition, the third eye lead the way, dipping the chin to the chest, then rolling through the back into our cat pose. And again, leading with the head first. So it's like you're drawing a semicircle with the nose. again. And then just for a few breaths here, just trusting your intuition and moving in any way that feels good. So it doesn't have to look like mine. So closing the eyes and just being guided by that inner wisdom. So our third eye is about imagination as much as wisdom and insight and intuition. And then pausing back in this neutral position. So then from here, we're just going to very briefly come back into our downward facing dog and then walk the feet forwards from here. And coming into our dangling position. So this is our only standing pose in yin. And we're going to bend the knees really deeply, let the head be heavy. And again, visualize that energy coming all the way down from the base of the spine, through the length of the spine, into the third eye. And staying here in stillness if we can for about 10 breaths. Bending the knees as much as feels comfortable. You don't want to overstretch the hamstrings here. Last few breaths here, just softening wherever you can. See if you can just gently shift the weight forwards into the balls of the feet so we're not rocking back onto the heels. And then take a big breath in. And exhale through the mouth. And just placing the fingertips on the floor, we're going to sink our hips down into our yogi squat. So I'm just going to turn and face you for this one. So bringing the toes out to a diagonal, sink the hips down. Now if the heels don't reach the ground here, you can pop a blanket underneath the heels so you can rest on it there. Or you could just come forwards and keep the heels lifted with the fingertips down on the ground. And if the hands aren't on the ground, bringing the palms together and maybe even dropping the forehead so that the fingers make contact with the space between the eyebrows where we find the third eye. And then take a big breath in. And exhale, sigh out. Feel free to keep the eyes closed if they are here. And just let the fingertips come down to the ground. And then sit down, either with the fingers behind you for a little bit of support, or just allowing the hips to rock down. And then it might feel good here just to stretch the legs out for a moment, taking the feet as wide or wider than the hips, and bringing the hands behind so you can take the knees to one side, and then over to the other side, just like windscreen wipers, releasing some of that tension. Okay, so from here we're going to come into our swan pose. So we're going to bring the left knee towards the left wrist and the left foot over towards the right hip, and then shuffle that right leg back just as much as comfortable. So I like to keep my foot tucked right in here so the knee is closed, the joint's closed. If it feels okay to you to open the knee a little bit more and have the shin parallel or closer to parallel with the front edge of your mat, then that is absolutely your choice. So I also like to bring a block underneath that front hip, just to find a little bit more grounding, a little bit more evenness through the hip bones here. So keeping the hip points level. And then settling in here, you can stay upright, or if it feels good, coming on down. And again, because we're working with our third eye, maybe bringing another block here, or even just stacking the fists one on top of the other and resting the forehead down. So wherever you are, find space. So our yin practice is all about creating space in the body. And then resting down into that support. Back of the neck is nice and long, collarbones are broad. And just allow the hips to relax. And if you find you struggle to switch off these muscles, to disengage the muscles, then sometimes it's helpful to actually engage them. So to squeeze the glutes first. So drawing the hip back, so the front hip back and the back hip forward, squeezing everything towards center. And then relaxing, letting it go. And again, keeping that attention on the third eye here. Imagining you could breathe in energy through that space. I trust my inner wisdom. And then take a big breath in here. And exhale, sigh it out of the mouth. And just gently lifting the head, bring the hands underneath the shoulders so you can lift the torso up. And from here, we're just going to roll onto that left hip. So moving your blocks, if you have them, out of the way. And coming into our half butterfly pose. So the left foot is going to come into the inner thigh of the right leg. And you can sit on blocks here as well if that's comfortable. I'm actually on a little bit of a slope, so my hips are naturally lifted here. It's quite handy. Didn't plan it that way. And then from here, just sit nice and tall, reach through the crown of the head, allow the hips to settle in. And then you can start to turn the shoulders towards that straight leg. And if you've got a bit more space here, you can start to walk the hands forward. So coming forwards first with a straight spine, and you could stack again some blocks here, or if you have a bolster, this is a nice place for it. Or maybe even just using the hands, resting either the forehead, if that's comfortable, in the palm or onto the fist, or the side of the head. And if you're very open, your forehead might even touch your knee. Mine clearly doesn't. And we're just here for a few more breaths. If you do want to stay in these poses a little bit longer and you want a longer practice, then next time you do this video, you can always change your speed. I do this quite often, change it to 0.75 and you'll be able to stay in these poses for a little bit longer. And take a big breath in. And exhale, sigh it out. And then using the hands, walking them back. Keep the chin tucked in as you lift the shoulders up first. And then lifting the chin. Nice. Then we'll take our right leg and bring it all the way over the top and coming into our shoelace pose. So aiming to stack the knees. If that's not possible, then finding any version of this pose that feels good. And again, I like to keep my knee joints quite closed here, so sometimes people bring the feet out in front so they're more parallel to the edge of the mat. That just doesn't feel great for my knees. This, however, does. So sitting nice and tall, and then reaching the arms out long with the thumbs facing up towards the sky. Bring your left arm underneath and give yourself a big hug here. And then if you've got a bit more space available, bring the backs of the arms towards each other, and then maybe even wrap the palms towards each other so the palms are touching, coming into our eagle arms. And if you find this is creating tension, making the shoulders hike up, then just unwrap the hands or come back to this position here. So again, we're looking for space and ease in our yin practice. If, however, you have got the palms touching, again, maybe you could lift the elbows away from you and just allow the thumb to touch the third eye. And just gently scanning the body for our last few breaths here, releasing any tension from the jaw, the neck and shoulders, and the hips and legs and even the feet. Just relaxing wherever you can. And then take a big breath in. And exhale, sigh it out. And just slowly releasing the hands if the palms are touching, lowering them down, unraveling the arms. And just pausing here, feeling all those sensations through the neck, the shoulders, the back maybe. And then bring the fingertips behind, lift the knees, and then uncrossing the legs here. So we're going to set up for our swan pose on the other side. I'm going to face this way, and hopefully I'll be facing the right way when we come to our other poses. So bring your right knee to your right wrist, and the right foot to your left hip. And this thigh is roughly facing straight ahead. It might go out at an angle, but it definitely doesn't want to come in across the body here. And again, bringing your blocks underneath that hip for a little bit of support. And just settling in here, noticing any differences from this side to the other side. And then when it feels right, coming down any amount. Got a little creature on me here. And then maybe using the fists one more time, or your block, to create a little pillow resting the third eye down on wherever it reaches. So collarbones nice and broad, shoulders relaxed away from the ears. And settling in here for about 10 breaths. And if you find the mind starts to wander, knowing that that's completely normal, just gently bring it back, maybe to our affirmation, I trust my inner wisdom. Or just focusing on where you feel the breath in the body. And then taking a big breath in when you're ready. And gently exhale through the mouth. Slowly lifting the head off the hands or whatever it may be on. And using the hands to just walk the torso back upright. If the block's underneath you, bringing that out of the way. And then rolling onto the bottom, coming into our half butterfly pose. So bringing the right foot into the left thigh, left leg's out nice and long, and just stick the bottom out here. So again, I'm on a bit of a slope, which is perfect for my practice today, but you want to allow the pelvis to just tilt forward slightly in all these seated poses. And just settling in here. If you can hear that plane going overhead. Someone's off somewhere nice and sunny. And then reach tall through the crown of the head. Turn the shoulders towards the foot. And then maybe start to walk the hands down. And again, finding some kind of support here, whether it's a block or bolster or just your own hands. Resting the forehead down, or maybe the side of the head, so bringing the ear and the side of the temple into that left hand. Just keep the left shoulder down and relaxed. And softening a little bit more into the pose. And just focusing on the breath. And then when you're ready, go ahead and take that big breath in. And exhale it all out. And then bringing the head back up, using the hands to support the torso, slowly rolling up. And then bending that left knee, giving it a hand so it can come all the way in. And bringing the left foot over the right thigh. So we're coming into our shoelace pose here. And again, just finding your version of shoelace, so the knees may or may not stack one on top of the other. And the feet can be tucked in or a little bit further out. And then when you're comfortable, reaching the hands out wide, thumbs to the sky or the ceiling. And then wrapping the right arm this time underneath the left. Give yourself a big hug here. And this is a lovely place to stay, just dropping the chin gently towards the chest. Or you can bring the arms into our eagle arms, any variation. Maybe bringing the thumb to the third eye, gently pressing the elbows up and away from the body. And then coming into our last breath here, fill all the way up. And exhale it out. Slowly releasing the arms. Allowing all the fresh nutrients to come flooding into the shoulders. Just pausing here a moment. And then leaning back on the hands and releasing the legs. Again, maybe taking those windscreen wipers or just straightening the legs out in front. Bending and straightening one at a time. And then from here, we're going to make our way down onto our backs. And just take a moment here, let everything settle. And then we're coming into our final relaxation. So today, you could either take Shavasana with the legs out long, or if you're near a wall, you can bring legs up the wall and rest there. If you're not, you could just take your legs up towards the sky, maybe bring in the blocks again underneath the hips, just for a little bit of support as you take those legs up. And as I say, this will be our final pose today, our relaxation pose. So if this doesn't feel restful to you, then just come into your regular Shavasana pose. But with our legs up, again, we're encouraging this blood flow, the flow of energy to come down towards our third eye. Encouraging our inner wisdom, imagination, insight, and intuition. So just taking a few moments in silence here to completely relax. And becoming aware again of the breath in the body, the ground underneath you, the energy in the entire body. Every cell alive and buzzing with energy. And return into our affirmation one more time, saying to yourself, I trust my inner wisdom. Taking a big breath in and exhale, sigh it out. And whatever position the legs are in, just bending them one at a time until the feet come down to the ground. If you've got a block underneath you, just gently lifting the hips to move that out of the way. And then slowly rolling onto one side. And just taking a moment here and remembering that we can take everything that we do and feel and learn on our mats out into the world and into our day. When you're ready, slowly pressing your way up, using the hands for support, and then sitting nice and tall. Take a moment here, roll the shoulders back. Take a big breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Bringing the hands to heart center. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're here on YouTube, then remember to like and subscribe, and do leave me a comment below. Let me know what you thought of this video. And you can always head over to happyyoga.wales, where you'll find longer versions of all of my practices, including this one, and I will see you on the mat soon.